Okay, now we're ready to look at task 3, which features around queries. And there's four queries listed below, and we're going to use the appropriate criteria and print as we go as well. Let's look at 3.1, the first query, which is based around finding and printing all the CDs produced by Arcade Fire in our database. And we're going to save that as QRY1, and we're going to tab on our initials again. Okay, back in our database, we're going to use the create option here, and for queries, we're going to use the query design button to create our query. And straight away, we're going to decide on what table we wish to query. TBL stock 1, our table. We'll just double click on that and close off that dialog. Now we want to display all the fields, and an easy way to do that is just double click on that star button and all your fields will display. Now the field we wish to query is the artist, and we want the artist on the albums that we want to query is Arcade Fire. So for criteria, under the artist field, we put in Arcade Fire, and when we run that query, we should hopefully see the two albums that have been produced by Arcade Fire. Now, it's good to verify that your query will work by checking back at our table, and we can see that there are 2 records here created by Arcade Fire, which corresponds to the correct outcome in our Access database here. Okay, let's save off that query by right clicking and using the save option, QRY1 followed by your initials, and click OK. Now at this stage you can view that in print preview and just check that it fits on one page. It fits on 2 at the moment, so again the landscape option is probably best to help that fit. And there's the outcome of that query, and you can see that it has your initials on it. You can just click print at that stage if you wish. Right, let's move on to the next query. Query 3.2 asks us to find and print records for all CDs which are reissues, and we use the wildcard operator. You can identify which item is a reissue here in the album name field, and we can see 2 records are reissues, and I'm going to show you how to use the wildcard operator to identify them via a query. So back in our database, we create again using the query design button here, and we'll show the table TBL stock 1. That's what we're going to use for our query. We'll pop out all fields, and we're going to query the field album name based on the word reissue. Now, it's not going to hit the word reissue unless we use the wildcard operator at the start and the end of the word reissue, so that any other text that's in amongst that word is accounted for in our search. So let's run our query, and you can see that the outcome of the 2 albums which are reissues are available. Again, you can save at this stage. QRY2 is the file name, and you can print it again as you wish, if you wish. Okay, 3.3 asks us to find and print records for all CDs whose price is greater than or equal to $8.50 and who have at least 3 CDs left in stock. So querying 2 fields in this case, the price field and the number in stock. So the price has to be greater than or equal to €8.50, and the number in stock has to be at least 3, so again greater than or equal to 3 in stock. So I'm going to create that query in the design. Again, select our table as per usual, display all the fields, and then identify the 2 fields in this case, the price field and the number in stock field. I'm going to include them for my query. First of all, we're going to query any CD whose price is greater than €8.50. Now there's no need to include any euro symbols or anything like that. The table is intelligent enough to identify or to query this figure against the currencies The number in stock is going to be has to be greater than or equal to 3, and I've noticed there that I never identified that should be greater than and equal to for the €8.50 or the in the price field. Now let's run that query, and we can see that there's 4 records that match criteria of greater than or equal to 3 in stock, greater than or equal to €8.50 in price. And again, it's worthwhile verifying against your table that that outcome is correct. Okay, 3.4 asks us to find and print records for all CDs which were released by the groups Feist or Stars in 2005 or 2006. But before I do that, I'm just going to save off my third query. And create our fourth query. Selecting our main table again and all our fields, and looking at the fields which we're going to query: the artist name and the date of release. So the artist name can be either Stars, C, or Feist, and the date of the release can be in 2005, 2006. So in this case here, it's between 1st of the 1st 2005 and the 31st of the 12th 2006. And I can run that query. You can run the query, save the query as query 4 with your initials, and do your print preview. Of course, change to the landscape if necessary or appropriate, and print off. Okay, we're going to move on to task 4, which is about making modifications to the database table and saving this new table as TBL stock 2. Handiest way to do that is to close off all our objects in the database. Close off all our objects in the database, and in the objects pane, right click on our original table, take a copy of that, and paste that copy in, giving it the name TBL stock 2, ensuring that you include the structure and the data in your copy, because we'll be modifying the structure as well as the data. Once that object appears, you can open it and make changes to the structure by entering the design view and appending the new field called final available, identifying that to be a yes no field or a true false field, and re-entering the datasheet view, saving the table as you do so, and browsing to the field and inputting the appropriate data. Yes corresponds to a box being ticked, and no corresponds to a box being left vacant.